Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the What We're Watching podcast, a podcast to keep your eye on. And we are very excited for today's episode. If you remember, at the end of the last episode, we said that this week was going to be a very, very special one. I brought my other favorite hockey boys here with us because this week we are so locked in on the new series on Prime Video based off of some of the best books by Elle Kennedy, the off-campus series.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yes. This is a long time coming. I
Mhm.
think we both read the books at definitely like 4 or 5 years ago, at least for me. I know that you're probably similar, if not longer.
I don't even remember the first time I read them because it's been so long, but if you know, you know, the OG men's ab covers, like that's what I have downloaded from Z Library on my like Apple Books. So I'm an
Yes.
OG.
Yeah, I think I was living in the sorority house in college at that point because my whole friend group, I remember, were like locked in and read them all around the same time. And Annie specifically, like if you know Annie, she's a huge hockey person. She literally works for a hockey team now, and she had like a religious studies like major. She has a degree in something not hockey related, but her love from hockey literally stemmed from the off-campus series. Like she read that first book and then was like, take me to a hockey game, and now she's literally working for a hockey
Same,
team.
same. Ugh.
Yeah.
It just like, I don't know. It's like so perfect to me. Like, yes, there's like flaws, obviously.
Well, it's like
Like,
cheesy
it's
YA
cheesy,
romance.
yeah. Well,
It's
it's
not
not
really YA.
but it is very like, yeah, like cheesy and like some things that happen in it, you're just like, okay. You could definitely tell it was written in 2014, 20, whenever. Like, you can tell like that was the era it was written in.
Right. Like the fact that One Direction is very prevalent and like Breaking Bad. Like there's a lot of references
Yes.
that are very like early 2010s
Yes.
references. But
Yes.
I loved kind of how they updated it in a way for the show, but still stuck to kind of some of those like, early 2010 references
Yes.
too.
Yes. I will definitely say that was something that I was kind of happy that they did made a couple changes that were, to make it a little bit more relevant and modern, but there are still some things at the core that were very niche to the off-campus series
Right,
that they
right.
kept. So,
Yeah. Okay, so for those that don't know, Ava, would you like to dive into what the heck is off campus? What are we
yes.
talking about today?
Yes. Okay. So, Off-Campus is a technically five book series by Elle Kennedy. And the first book is The Deal, centered around Garrett Graham and Hannah Wells, which is pretty much what the first season is about. They're the main couple that anchors the whole season. But then we get bits and pieces of the other couples that, or, other things that kind of happen throughout the whole the series. And that's the first book called The Deal. And the second book is called The Mistake with Logan, which is another character on the hockey team and best friends with Garrett. So it's basically pretty much an interconnected, kind of friend group, standalone. You can read them by themselves and not read the next one, but it's definitely good if you just decide to read them all because they're just amazing.
Right, they all are from the same universe.
Hmm.
Kind of similar, okay, not to be like the bitches always talking about heated rivalry, but it's similar to how heated rivalry is all the same universe, and you're going to hear references to other characters and the same characters in every book, but you can, like you said, read them technically as a
Hmm.
standalone.
Yes. So you get introduced in the deal to pretty much all the characters that you're going to see the rest of the series. Um, so the second book is about Logan and Grace. Grace is a character you don't hear about until the second book, which is called The Mistake. And she's a sophomore and he's a senior in that book. But that's their book. And then the third book is Allie and Dean, my favorite book. The Score is the best
Oh
book
my gosh. I
ever.
I think a lot of people would put The Score as their top book.
The Score
There's
is
just
so good.
there's something about it. And also Elle Kennedy just knows how to write like yearning boy, like he falls first very well. And I think that that's what's such a good draw to the series too, is that that's the shit that like I don't know, I love to read is when like the guy is so obsessed with the girl.
hmm Well, and that book is Dean, which is another friend on the hockey team that lives with Garrett, and Allie, which is Hannah's roommate. So, and she was in a long-term relationship until she broke up with her long-term relationship because she wanted, to be free or whatever. And boom, falls into a friends with benefit situation with Dean De Laurentiis Hayward. Like, that's my man. And like
Like
it's
I
like
know
secret
Dada.
romance. No, like actually, like it's secret romance slash friends with benefits, and it's oh, that one's so good. Like, and that one is, if you know, you know, saddest book of the series as well. Saddest book of the series.
Moment of silence. Okay.
And if you don't know, be glad you don't know, but read the book so you do know. Because I'm scared. For if the series pans out the way it's supposed to, I'm scared.
It's giving like it's gonna happen in season two. If
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Anywho, then there's the fourth book, which is The Goal with Tucker and Sabrina. Tucker is another friend of Garrett's and also living in the house. And then Sabrina is kind of a side character you kind of hear about because all these books are kind of simultaneously happening at the same time or like little bits and pieces right after one another. And that's what we
There
kind
is
of see.
overlap.
Yeah, that's what we kind of see in the first season of the series, which is something I was like definitely like wasn't sure how I felt about when I first watched it, but now that like I've, watched it and then like let some time pass sitting on it a little bit, I feel like that was the perfect decision because that's how it's happening in
Right.
the books.
It makes sense because I like I you know that there's overlap between the books, but the way that it made it feel before the show came out is that like each season was going to be a book about,
Mm-hmm.
this couple was the first season. So I'm almost
Kind of
glad that they
Bridgerton style.
right. I'm glad that they chose to kind of intertwine them because sorry not to bring it back to Heated Rivalry again. But it's similar to how they did it with Heated Rivalry. Because these stories are happening simultaneously, there's no doubt that like one story is affected by the other's story. There's things that happen in the deal that are heavily affected by like the score.
So that's what we kind of see in this series, how things are kind of happening, simultaneously. So the first season is pretty much anchored by Hannah and Garrett, like I said. And then in the middle, mixed in between that, is Allie and Dean, which was something I was so excited to see because
Oh my
obviously they're such
gosh.
a fan favorite. And I love their storyline so much. So that's why people think season two is going to be focused a little bit more, not like the books, and be more of Allie and Dean, but then have Grace and Logan sprinkled into the like middle to end of it, kind of how the first
Right.
season was.
Well, and they already are filming. They already started
Yes.
filming season two because I think somebody said the timeline is literally like we get season two of Off Campus and then season two of Heated Rivalry, like literally 2 weeks later. Like, Mama, we are fed.
Fed. Like, so then after those main four books, there's also the Legacy, which is a combination of all POVs from all the characters in the books before it. And it's just kind of like wrapping up like a couple years after going to Briar U, which is the university that they go to. And kind of wrapping that up. So after the off-campus series, which is those five books there, we also have Briar U and Campus Diaries, which are kind of still coming out. So, Briar U are four books that kind of follow people from the hockey team that we kind of hear about, see appearances of in the main four books. But then some of them are completely new characters too.
I feel like it's very what it says. Like it's more people from the university. Like it takes our universe of like those four roommates, those four boy roommates, and expands them to more people within the Briarview University. And so, like, of course, naturally, you're going to have like some overlap. Like, there is a character that we've already seen in season one that I know is in the second, you know, establishment of books. So
Mm-hmm.
there's just kind of like expanding on the universe that we already have.
Yeah. So those four books are The Chase, The Risk, The Play, and The Dare. Um, The Chase is Dean's sister, Summer, and the goalie of the hockey team that had just moved into the house that Garrett had lived in. So like all of them are gone and they took over that house. So some of the characters kind of live at that house now. So Fitz is what they call him in the book. Colin Fitzgerald is living in that house. So it's a story about them too, and he is a nerdy but like grumpy, tattooed, gobbly like
Okay.
literally love, 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 love. But this next book, the second book in Briar Year, is the best, like top tier. Everybody loves this one because it is Miss Brenna Jensen, which is Coach Jensen's daughter, which is their coach for the hockey team, and the rival team's star player, Mr. Jake Connolly, who is the hottest man alive, who is literally talked about in every single book being the hottest man alive. Like literally makes Hannah freak out, makes Allie freak out, makes
So,
Summer freak out. Like if they do the story correct, he will be mentioned because of one character that was already mentioned in season one, and they do it right. And he is mentioned in season two. He better be the hottest thing
right.
I've
I'm
ever
like,
seen.
what level of pressure does this put on the casting crew? Like, you have to choose the hottest man alive. Okay, well, they're taken already on
Well,
another hockey show.
they also have to pick the hottest girl alive because Miss Brendan Jensen is gorgeous. Miss,
Which
I wear red lipstick. I wear red fire lipstick because that is girl boss.
And you know what? I'm honestly like, I'm here for it and I'm not nervous at all because if you read the books and the casting for this first season was so spot on. I think John Tucker is the only one that's like been questionable because there's some like iconic things, you know, regarding him, but they literally took the books and like shook out all the other characters. Like
Literally,
I swear like that is Garrett Graham to a T. Like Belmont is
literally.
literally great. Garrett Graham.
Yes. And then the third book is The Play, and this one is a character that is in the that we just got shown in the series, which is crazy how quick he was introduced into the series. It is Hunter Davenport and Demi. And what's crazy to me is we have the dynamic at the end of the show. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, like, what are you doing? Like, go watch
Lock
it right now.
in
Pause the video, go
people.
watch, then come back. Um, we get the dynamic at the very end of season one that Hunter and Dean hate each other, which is crazy because in the book, they are mentor-mentee and love each other and they have a really good relationship. And Hunter has a really good relationship with Summer, his sister. So I'm really excited to see how they change that in the series and how that goes about. And he finds Demi because he's celibate. He becomes celibate for the rest of the season because he is so worried and needing to be, the best of the best and,
Which is
being
crazy
good for the
because if you've
team.
seen the show, like how he's introduced in the show is the exact opposite, basically.
So that's what happens in his book. Um, And that one is so good too. Demi is a great character. I love her so much. And then finally at the end of the Briar U series is The Dare, which this book, in my opinion, can pretty much be forgotten. I don't think it's one of Elle's best books. It's
She
Connor
seems to
Edwards
kind of
and
like fall off at the fourth book
yes,
because
it's
love me some John Tucker, but like that story,
don't hate on my book. Don't hate on that book.
no,
Don't hate on that book.
you know I hate
Oh,
it.
you
You
hate
didn't
it because it's
even talk.
accidental pregnancy trope, bro. It's so good. You don't even
How's
know,
that?
guys. It's
It's
so
not
good.
good.
So
It's
good.
not
That's
good.
like
Don't lie to the
Loki. What's
people.
crazy is like that Loki is like kind of one of my favorite tropes.
You're crazy for that.
I do like there being a child in the book.
Please
Okay.
put it in the comments. Do you fuck with the accidental pregnancy trope? I say absolutely not.
I think it
Children only
depends.
make things worse.
I think it depends on the situation.
What other books have you read that are accidental pregnancy
Oh my
tropes?
God. I the what book is that? It's the LZ Silver one.
The
It's
like
the second one. It's the
quick.
second one.
I don't know what
No,
they are.
no. It's the second one. I that one was so good. But
Well,
well, if it's not like accidental pregnancy or like, oh my God, I love Nanny X the single dad. Oh my God. Fire.
I read a
Anywho.
book one time that was single dad and the kid's teacher. Hello,
Hello. And then
sign me
the
up.
Dare is low key one that like I could forget about because it's like not great. It's Connor Edwards and Taylor, and she's a sorority girl and he's a hockey player, and she has to um somehow like it's like another fake dating one. Um she's told by her sorority sisters that she can't seduce the really cool hockey player, aka Connor Edwards, and it becomes like a fake dating kind of thing. So that one's
She's
low
like,
key
oh,
forgettable.
watch me.
And she's like, no, I'm just kidding. That one's looking forgettable. Personally, I don't love that one, but that's okay. I'm excited to see how they decide to incorporate that into the off-campus series or if they decide to do a spin-off, which would
Right.
be really awesome.
I think I miss when shows were like 10 seasons long because while I think that it's great, you know, when like there's some shows that need to be put down. Grey's
Hmm.
Anatomy, I'll say it right here right now. Close the book. Close the chapter. We're done with Grey's Anatomy. It's what, season like 22 now. But then I'm like now we're literally in a deficit. Like we get 8 episode seasons and they're like 3 seasons in a series.
Hmm.
24 episodes when previously TV shows literally used to have 24 episodes in a season.
Hmm.
10 to 15 seasons. So I'm like, while I would love to say I want it to be a spin-off, I would rather just have them incorporate it into like the full main story, you know?
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Especially because they already mentioned Hunter. Like that's what makes me think that they're going to.
Yes.
But then I
Well,
think of like
And Amazon Prime is snatching up book adaptation series
left
like
and right.
crazy.
And honestly, I think they're the ones that are doing it the best. And I really will chalk it up to Jenny Han and how she did The Summer I Turned Pretty because
Yep.
I've read the first one and then majority of the second one. Have you read them?
I've read them all.
Yeah. And I feel like those are pretty decently accurate. And the only things that they change are like plot holes from the book that they like
Hmm.
fill in gaps.
Hmm.
Whereas then you have like right now, Emily Henry, she sold her like rights to her books to Netflix instead. And I feel like while I loved People We Meet on Vacation,
It fell
the
flat.
it felt flat and the differences that they left in it. And she's having the same issue with Beach Read right now because
Hmm.
everybody's so upset with the casting for that.
Hmm.
Patrick Schwarzenegger, that's not my Augustus Everett. I'll say that right now.
Not mine.
Eh, that's not mine.
Hey, that's not mine.
Eh, eh.
Hey.
But I think Amazon Prime is like doing them correctly.
Hmm.
So I think that they would benefit honestly from just incorporating them into the whole show and
Hmm.
making it like the universe, you
Yes,
know?
I agree. I think that would be the best ideal situation out of
Right.
everything. Uh,
Yes.
but then after Briar U, there's the Campus Diaries, which are still kind of coming out now. I won't go too in depth with those because you don't have to read them unless you really, really want to. I find them fun because it's the children of the main core four, at least for book one and book four. The two in the middle are random people. Which Elle seems to do that sometimes. She likes to throw those random characters in, but that's okay. The first one is the Graham effect, and it's Gigi Graham and Luke Ryder. And he's a hockey player. She's also a hockey player, but for the women's team. And he is like in love with her dad. So naturally, I mean, who wouldn't be in love with Garrett Graham? Like,
Well, yeah, you would do it
well,
too for a guy.
yes, like literally. And then there's the Dixon rule, a sorority sister, and TBH, that one's low-key irrelevant in my opinion as well. I don't even remember the guy's name.
Sure.
Um, the Charlie method, which is a male, female, male story. So it's like a threesome. Um,
Hey,
totally irrelevant book. You don't need to
hashtag
read that one.
challengers
That one
vibes.
literally took, I think was like brain cells, like took brain cells off my life, took years off my life. That's what I meant to
Took
say.
brains.
Took years off my life reading that book because it was so slow and I don't know, not her best work, let me just tell you. And then recently Love Song just came out, which you find out in the legacy that Garrett and Hannah have twins, and Gigi's one of them, and then Wyatt is the other. So the last one is Love Song,
Is
and it's
Gigi
Wyatt
named after
Graham.
her father?
Her name is just Gigi.
But like, is she named after her father? Because he's Garrett Graham.
Yes. But it's like
That's so
Gigi.
crazy. But she's like GGG. GGG.
It's
That's
not just.
crazy. Hashtag girlsgogames.com.
Wait,
What
that
y'all,
was a
what you,
crazy pull. That was a pull.
what y'all know about girlsgogames.com? Okay? What do you know about make the Barbies emo?
Okay, back to me.
Dress the Barbies. Okay, sorry.
Okay, back to me. So, Love Song is Wyatt Graham, and then it is the daughter of Grace and Logan, Blake Logan. So it's like I think
Mm.
I've seen this film before, and I actually loved the ending. So
And then
that's
she has another one
basically.
that's coming
There's
out.
another one coming out, which is Jake Connolly and Brenna's son and Dean's daughter.
That's
So that one's
crazy.
gonna be really good. I'm
Oh,
really
is
excited
it?
for that one. But what I really like, I think the most out of reading Campus Diaries books is I'm still getting my fix of the OGs because they
Sure.
have like group chats within each of those, and those are what make me laugh the most. I love books that have like text messages in it. I just think it's hilarious. And I think it's a small element that some people like, some people don't, but I think it's a hilarious element. And so anytime I read those, it makes me laugh. It's
You
called
want to know
Dad
what
Chat.
I don't understand is why some authors make decisions in their books to change the way the dialogue is played out. Like famously in Normal People, how there's no quotation marks.
I can't read
But,
that book.
but currently, I'm reading Pole Position, which is an F1 book. Kai clock in. Um, and instead of using quotation marks, she just uses like one apostrophe.
I hate that.
I'm just like, what's the purpose of that?
I don't. Maybe it's like the style the publishing company likes. I don't know.
I
Like that's
don't
really
know.
interesting. I don't understand
But
that.
that's the thing about Normal People, though, is like
Oh my
famously
God.
known for not having quotation
I can't
marks.
read it because of it. Like it physically pains me to read it because there's no quotation marks. I don't like it.
I really want to read it because that show literally like chewed me up and spit me out and like made
I
me
have
gag,
it.
cry, and like scream. I know, but like you need to watch the show. Like that, if you want, if you
Impulse.
if you want the lore behind Daisy Edgar Jones and Paul Mescal, that's where you need to go. Is Normal People.
Girl, we've done
Speak.
an episode on that.
I know. I'm just saying that's where it began. Speaking of lore, um, uh, uh John Logan John Logan is the reason that Renee Rapp hates Boston.
Yep.
Like
Rip
the
Antonio.
lore behind Antonio, who plays John Logan, is so crazy deep. If you were in the like 2016 to like 2018 Jimmy Awards, Broadway scene, like you are very familiar with Antonio and Renee Rapp. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure it was the 2017 Jimmy Awards that was their Jimmy Awards, but they were like the two most iconic legends from that Jimmy Awards, and they were dating, and they
And
famously
they were
were like
roommates.
such an iconic Broadway couple. Like I'm pretty sure he got his Broadway debut in Jagged Little Pill, and her, of course, Regina George, like mother.
Like, oh,
But if
my
you
name is Regina George, and I am a master.
right.
Sing!
So basically, if you listen to In the Kitchen by Renee Rapp, arguably one of the most heart-wrenching songs to ever exist from her discography, just picture John Logan. Every single time I was watching the show and I was like obsessing over him, I was like, nope, 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 nope. Renee is my woman. I have to lock in. Like, I cannot betray her like this. But then I was like, ugh, but he's so good looking. They all are. Like, they genuinely locked in AF on this
I
casting.
I love them. Like I was so skeptical like when they first announced because I was like, okay,
They're gonna screw it
this
up.
is not where's my Brian playing Garrett Graham. That was who I was so fixated it was going to be Garrett
It's
Graham.
so hard when you get like when there's a cinematic universe or not cinematic, but like a book universe that people are it's so beloved that people have like fan casted for years and years.
Year, and I mean years,
And if
like
something,
years.
right, when something doesn't play out, it's so disappointing. Like, I think Disney knew that there was no other option besides Milo Manheim for Flynn Rider. Like, I think they literally would have had the people rioting in the streets if they wouldn't have casted Milo for Flynn because he was like OG fan cast for so long. Like,
Well,
that's how
and what's her name for Mother Gothel? She
yeah,
was fan
Catherine
casted
Hahn.
for yes,
Oh,
Catherine
for
Hahn.
sure.
She was fan casted like crazy
That's
too.
why I'm like, if they don't pick Liz Gillies to play Meg in the live action Hercules, then like they better watch their backs. That's all I gotta
There's
say.
so many, it's so hard, especially as somebody that did read the books. I've read the books literally like 4 times. I'm currently rereading the deal because I really, really wanted to. And I have such a distinct picture in my mind of what they look like. But watching the show, I think they have all done a phenomenal job living up to the personalities of each of the characters.
Right.
Like, like, uh, Ella Bright, that is my Hannah Wells.
Oh
She
yeah.
100% gives me Hannah Wells now that I've watched the show.
Yeah. Now that you're rereading it, are you picturing Ella and Belmont as the characters? Or are you still picturing who you previously pictured?
I, I think I still picture Belmont. I think I picture Belmont now.
Okay, so I want to know, Ava, what are some of your favorite parts that you saw reenacted on the big screen?
Mm, hmm. I don't know. I feel like the this is so funny because I feel like the scenes that were most memorable to me may not have happened in the book.
Okay, okay. So
Um,
yeah, what are your favorite scenes?
I really liked the bed scene where they were both sleeping on the floor. Um,
Yes.
that scene is so funny because I just kind of read that part in the book. Um, they end up both sleeping in the bed in the book. So it's like a little different and it's really
Which
funny.
they do fall asleep in the bed, but Garrett,
Then he
being
gets
the
up.
king gentleman he is, he wakes up before she does and gets on the floor so she feels comfortable. That's the thing that I literally love about this series is especially I mean they did it in the books, but I really feel it in the show a lot, is that these men are not made out to be like sleazy slobs of like, fuckboy guys. Like they are truly gentlemen, even though that they may be like, dirt bags in the sense that, yeah, of course, Dean, he gets around. But even Dean says in a scene in the show, he's like, if she's not feeling safe or if she doesn't consent to it, then like, you don't have anything. Like, you can't do anything. She has to want to be there to enjoy it or something like that,
Uh-huh.
which I'm just
Yep.
like, yes, thank you for putting that into society because there's
Hmm.
so many shows where these men are like inexcusably just being like, you know, dirt bags and buttholes,
Hmm.
and everybody's just
Hmm.
like cool with it, you know?
Yeah. There were a lot of scenes that I really loved in the book that I was surprised didn't get into the show at all. Um or were changed quite a bit. Um but I did also really like anytime that she like performed, like when she finally decided to like get drunk while out and let him watch her drinks, and she sang Cherry Pie. Like that was so
So
funny.
good.
That doesn't really happen in the book.
She
Like
sings
it's
something
something a little
else,
different.
doesn't
She does
she?
sing something else. It's but that's um yeah, that's what I think is so funny is like I like how they did that though, because it was a
It
callback to
made
what
right.
happened in, the early scene. And that happens in the book. She does walk in on somebody in him. Like,
Right. It makes
so,
more sense. And so I'm okay when books to movie or show adaptations make those kind of like creative differences if they like make more sense to what the story is doing or saying,
mhm.
Like ah, so okay, so I think one of the biggest changes, now this is of course spoilers ahead. One of the biggest changes that I think is the fact that in the books, Garrett's dad goes to Hannah and basically says like, you have to break up with him, you have to leave him, like he won't get basically like his the money, or I will cut him off and everything like that. And Hannah, of course, being the amazing person she is like, I don't want that for him.
Mhm.
And so she goes and breaks up with Garrett. But that's not how it plays out in the show.
That's their third act breakup in the book, was that happening.
Right, that's what I meant. That's not how, yeah. So I think that, which of course in the book, then that leads to, because she broke up with him,
The
leads
campus
to
white
the,
hands off law,
which
which
everybody is very
I'm so
disappointed.
disappointed.
But I mean, they tried to do it, but it didn't make sense because they changed that storyline. Because
Yes.
in the book or in the show, Garrett breaks up with Hannah, and we can get into the reason why in a second, but Garrett breaks up with Hannah and then tries to impose the hands-off rule. And it's like, but babe, you just broke up with her. Like, how are we gonna break up with her and then tell everybody to like keep their hands off of
Yeah.
her?
That was the hardest part, I feel like, for me watching that and seeing how that unfold because that is such a big part of the book. Like, the baby, don't you baby me?
It's like a
You
huge,
invoked a
right.
campus-wide hands-off rule on
It's a
me?
big part of like Garrett and his dad's dynamic too.
Hmm.
Like Garrett and Phil's dynamic, and how that whole ending in the book plays out
Hmm.
is a huge thing. Now,
Hmm.
I like what they did. So Hannah has had some like traumatic history with this guy named Delaney in the books, and he's just kind of like a nobody in the books. He's just like the guy from her history, but they made him a little bit of a, I would say, a bigger character, bigger screen time character in the show than he would have been like cover character in the book, page character.
He became a bigger role in the
Yeah.
series.
And in the series, the show, they made him like a player on an opposing team that Garrett plays against. So you kind of see that effect that has on Hannah and Garrett's relationship and, that trauma come more to light. I think I liked that, honestly. I feel like it gave it a little bit more of like a higher stakes, but ultimately, like, that's the reason why they chose to make it Garrett broke up with her rather than Hannah breaking up with Garrett, you know?
That's what I wish. I wish they would have. I agree. I do like that storyline. Like I think that added so much more to how Garrett feels about Hannah too. Um, I just wish though that that was what had happened during the game, but Phil still approached Hannah at the end. I
Well,
was waiting for that.
even if so, like, of course, spoilers. Garrett like beats the fucking shit out of Delaney in the game once he realizes who this man is. And then after the game, they get into this, or well, he gets like ejected, and so then they get into this big like tuffle about it, and that's why Garrett breaks up with her because she lied. But I mean, it could have easily still been she broke up with him, because he acted out and made this big scene and all this stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
think that they still could have kept the authenticity of her breaking up with him and then him imposing the campus wide hands off rule.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think they probably didn't want it to be like he just beat up, her abuser and then she breaks up with him because of it,
Hmm.
where it's like he's trying to defend her because he loves her. But
Yes.
it was very interesting. I don't hate it, but there's definitely like some things that I just wish would have stayed. I think I just am really disappointed about the campus hands off rule
Me too.
because like that was amazing.
What I think my biggest, actually, there's a couple things, but this one, I think like, I really dislike that she is a composing major because she's not a composing major in the books. She is a performance major and she is rehearsing with another character. His name's Cassidy, and that is how her bond with Garrett kind of starts when they first start having tutoring sessions. She, is complaining about Cass because he is, trying to change their whole piece that they're singing. And she complains to Garrett about it. And Garrett's like, okay, well, play for me. And that's the first time Hannah plays for Garrett in that setting like that. And that I feel like means so much in the book, but it's so different in the series because she is a composing major and
Well,
she's writing her own,
right.
stuff for the showcase,
And
which does happen in the book. She does write her own piece for the book, but I am just upset because
right.
it's not the way it was like from the beginning. Like
Well, and I
yeah.
think for me, it's like I even said this to you. I thought that it was maybe because like Ella Bright couldn't sing, and they were trying to like save face by saying, "Oh, you're composing, not singing," so they could like minimize the amount of time she has to sing in the show. But it turns out like she was,
She
unless
can
it was
sing.
like heavily edited, like Miss Girl has pipes. Like
They
she
said
got
I
vocals.
watched an interview. They said she sang live, but they had the pre-recording playing over her too.
Yeah.
So,
I like how they changed Justin is so Garrett and Hannah's story is they fake date to make Justin jealous basically because Hannah has this big crush on Justin and in the books Justin is just a football player and in the show, he's this like edgy kind of rock star. He's in a band, and so she likes him because they're both in the music world, and she asks him for help on her song, which I think honestly makes more sense and gives them more reason to spend time together, build that relationship and more stakes within it as opposed to him just being like a or a football player that she likes.
hmm. I did kind of like that. I don't know. I'm just so partial to the books.
I know you are.
But I think it was a good choice for the series to make it more appealing TV wise, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I think you also, there's a level of like, you have to write characters that matter enough to the storyline that they can money wise be like a paid cast member of the show, that they can
Mhm.
be invested enough in the storyline, which is why I'm like, okay, Hunter is obviously they're gonna have to extend the series because they wouldn't have like introduced him for nothing. Same with like all of these smaller you see people who you think are smaller characters and then they end up like playing bigger roles later in the book, like Bo.
Yeah.
So it's like I think because in the books it feels that Justin just being like a football player that she likes and not really having any like addition elsewhere in the storyline, making him another songwriter that like helps her with her music is I feel like kind of where they like, made gave him more screen time, if that makes sense.
hmm And then another, I feel like, big story change was Logan. A lot of his story is very, very different. And
Like his whole story.
I, yes, and I really don't know how much I feel about it.
Until we see how they choose to change the rest of his story, because what they changed is like a
Pretty
prevalent,
significant and
it's
prevalent. Yes.
significant to his backstory and why he's doing what he's doing.
hmm
So I feel like until we see how they're going to alter that, it's hard to like say it's completely ruined yet. But I'm like, I can't think of a way that they're going to fix it.
hmm Yeah, I don't know. Anywho, Logan's character is has an older brother in the book. And his older brother is back in their hometown working at their garage because they're mechanics and they have an alcoholic dad and he has to take care of his alcoholic dad. And that's how it is in the book. And it's always been when Logan is done with college, he will come back to the shop and take over and watch their dad while his brother can go off and, live the rest of his life because he's done it for this many years now.
Despite the fact that he wants to go play professional hockey, he knows that he has to make that sacrifice to go back to
Yes.
his dad.
And nobody knows this of him either. Nobody
Right.
knows. Um, but in the series, in the TV show, he has a sibling named Jules. And that character is not at all in the book, which is fine. I think it was an odd element to add in my opinion, but I am actually excited to see how that character connects to Grace's character because the small things that they have said have, kind of have some indication
Hinted.
that they know Grace, which
I've
makes me
seen where they think
excited.
that Grace and Jules are roommates.
Yes. That or they work at the radio station together because Grace works at the
Right.
radio station.
Right.
So I am excited to see how that plays
I
out.
think it will have an effect on that for sure.
hmm
But it's one of those things where it's like they didn't mention that they have an older brother.
Yeah. So I don't think
And
they
right.
do because
And they changed the parent.
yes, and it's not their dad anymore, it's their mom. And the season 1 has their mom in rehab. Um
And
which
frankly, John Logan, he is like, he doesn't want anything to do with his mom. He has like no skin in the game. He's like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to speak to her. She did this to
that's how it is in
herself.
the book a little bit too.
But to me, I'm like, if they try to make it to where it's like he wants to go back home to take care of her, they're not giving any like indication that he feels the need to be, helpful or a caregiver for his mother. Does that make
hmm
sense? Like
Yes.
how he, in his heart, in his conscience, he knows he needs to be a caregiver for his father in the books, and that's why he's making this sacrifice. Even though he hates his father or hates what he's done, he knows that he has to make this sacrifice. They're not really giving that indication that that's going to be the same emotional reaction to his mother.
Well, not so much on his dad, it's more on his brother in the
Right, right.
books. Is he's really feeling bad that his brother has been here and doing so many things and sacrificing so much of his life because he has a wife, he has kids, so he
Right.
feels so bad about, him sacrificing his life. I think that's one of the real reasons he knows he has to go back is because he needs to give his brother a break. But yeah, like you said though, he also knows that he has to go back for, his dad too. So I'm excited and interested to see how much more of that story does end up being changed. Like, do they still own a body shop or is it, something
Which
completely different?
they do because they talk about Hannah getting her car
Yes,
fixed.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if maybe the dad will still be involved at all,
Mm-hmm.
or if there'll be a whole different storyline that gets played out with Jules and the mom. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see because I also feel like in the book, he's very much like he knows he can't go pursue hockey. Like and even though he wants to, like he knows he can't do that. But the show, I feel like, gives more hope and more inclination that he's gonna like try to pursue hockey
Mm-hmm.
afterwards,
Yeah.
after college. So interesting changes. Not like I feel like we keep beating the dead horse, but like we said, nothing that was changed made it a bad show. It's a
Yes, I
great
agree.
show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great show. But when you're diehard fans like Ava, and I'm a big fan, but I'm definitely not diehard like Ava. She's crazy.
They're
But
so good.
so cute.
So cute.
But it's those things that make the diehard fans pick up on
Mm-hmm.
the tiny,
Mm-hmm.
significant and insignificant differences. You know,
Mm-hmm. Um, I feel like we've, jabbed and yapped for so long about that, but let's rapid fire like your tell me something about like Allie and Dean that you're really excited about, something
Mm.
about Tucker you're really excited about, and then overall something that you were really happy to see.
Yes. Okay. So Allie and Dean, I, it's not necessarily something I'm excited for, but I just love their dynamic so far. Like Mika, I think her name's Mika, who plays Allie, is goddess. She's literally gorgeous. And like, not to be that girl, but like I knew her from Snack Shack, which
Project MC squared.
if you've been around me, you know I've been talking about Snack Shack for a long time. It's one of my all-time favorite coming of age movies. Subtle plug, go watch Snack Shack. But she's just when she comes on screen, she just has this like infectious energy and like body tea, mama,
Body
like
tea.
body tea. The J-Lo outfit, um, I was no better than a man in
And
that
like,
moment.
mind you, this is who she's engaged to IRL.
No, literally,
Like,
I saw that. I was gagged.
mind you, Jake Shore, she is engaged to Jake Shore. Like, mind you, that is like,
And he doesn't look any different than he used to. Like I found a picture of him,
no,
he looks the exact same, which is crazy.
yes.
Like I love that for them. Also, when she did, of course, there were so many things in this show that I was like, holy crap, are they in my brain? One, there was a whole sequence about drunk Shakespeare that wasn't in the books, but like it was kind
But
of
it was
cringe,
kind of
but like I
fun. It
liked
was kind
it.
of fun.
They did a Midsummer Night's Dream, and like if y'all know me, y'all know that I was in a Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's very near and dear to my heart. And like her body was tea. Like where is her waist? Somebody
Couldn't
catch her,
find
she's
it.
flying away,
No, like,
literally. And then there's this whole scene when they're in the car with Bo,
oh my gosh.
and of course, like she's theater. I guess we didn't really say that, but like she's a theater major. And so she's a big theater girl. And Bo is like secretly a theater lover too. And so then they get talking about their favorite songs and favorite shows. And what was their number one favorite show? In the Heights.
Nights. And then what was her second favorite?
Little
Little
Shop of
Shop.
Horrors. Oh, okay. So like they just said, let me go into Reese Potter's brain and pick out her number one and number two. I was like, what are we doing? Like, did they literally
And
open my
then
brain up and say, let's do that?
and then complete segue into Dean saying, "Oh my God," and then, "Oh my God, you guys playing?" Like, who set this system up? Like,
Who set the
who
system up?
who did that?
Arguably one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. And I'm like, y'all are really making the crowd love Bo.
If you guys don't know like what we're indicating now, you gotta know. Like
Just
you
go
can
look it
figure
up.
it out.
We
Just
can't
look it
say
up.
it because like this
I'm
podcast will
really
turn into a
I'm
puddle of
I'm
tears.
really hoping they decide to change it.
They will
But also
not.
they won't because it means so much to Allie and Dean's story.
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing.
am like not hopeful, but like looking forward to in the most somber status way to how that whole portion plays out because I think the guy who plays Dean, you can tell that he's got a lot of emotions and he's a really good act like I can really see his potential to be a really good actor. And so there's going to be some like sad, dark, deep stuff that comes up later in him and Allie's
Steven. I know he's
storyline.
an S.
Steven.
Steven.
Yeah.
My
So
name.
I know that there's going to be some like deep stuff that comes up in his storyline later. And so I'm really eager to see his caliber of acting play out in
Hmm.
that, you know?
Yes. Yes, I agree. And then what's something about Tucker
Uh,
that you love seeing?
okay,
Which,
I'm
mind you, that man is a
Mateo.
redhead. That man is a redhead in the book, which
They
means so
casted
much,
Nurse
I feel like to
Mateo.
me, which I feel like means so much to me is that he's a redhead in the book, but because it's Jalen, I'm okay with it. Like he doesn't have to be redhead.
Yes, I love him. I love the whole like him at
Like
Thanksgiving scene.
that is my night
Uh,
Mateo, the pig. That is
Yes. It's I'm looking forward to see who they cast for Sabrina, genuinely, because
yes.
if you've read the books, you know Sabrina is like law school baddie. She's like I don't need no man to tell me what to do. Like I will take care of me, myself, and I, which is what makes their story honestly so enjoyable is because Tucker is very much the mom friend of that boy group. Like you can already see in the first season, like he's cooking
Is Dean came for a
Thanksgiving.
meal?
Right. He's cooking Thanksgiving for everybody. He's always cooking food and taking care of everybody, seeing if anybody needs anything. So he has these like heavy maternal instincts. Like he's a caregiver. Like his love language is acts of service through and through. And so knowing that Sabrina is this like independent baddie and she has Tucker who's like all I want to do is care for you and help you when she's like I don't need you. I love that part of their story
Mhm.
because again, Elle Kennedy loves to make a man work for it.
She does.
Eh.
I I also really like how you get small indications of what Tucker's story may be because some people, if you don't know what his story is, like whenever you're like watching it for the first time, you never read the books, you may not know what his story is. But he is getting like initiated into Bo and Dean's frat, and as his like humiliation ritual and like I don't want to say like hazing, but like that's what it is. He has to keep a track of fruit, and
Was
if
it an
this
egg in the book? Did they do that in the
I
book?
don't think they did that at all in the
For
book.
some reason I thought he was given an egg in the book to take care of.
No, I don't think, well, actually, I think they did give him an egg, but
But
that
it
is in
wasn't like a
his
big
book.
part.
But it wasn't like a,
Okay.
but I think it was in his book.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember. I'd have to reread. Like that's, I feel like it's such a small element in the book that like it didn't
Yeah.
matter. But
Yeah.
like it makes so much sense in the
I
show.
love, love, love. Whoever wrote
So
that,
that was tea. That was
big
good.
kiss, big kiss for
Yes,
you.
that was so good. They start him out with like I'm pretty sure it's like a strawberry or something,
It's a grape.
or a grape. Yes, it's a grape. And they say if we catch you, like if we catch the fruit, then it'll get replaced with a bigger fruit, which in pregnancy people like you measure the size of the infant and of the baby by fruit sizes. So
Yes.
that was such a I don't know if they did it intentionally, which I'm sure they did. It
They
just
totally
like that
did.
is such a clever.
Clever little Easter egg for sure.
Yes. Um, I would say one of my favorite things about Jean and Allie was, oh my God, this scene is so good in the book.
Iconic.
It's so iconic, so good in the book. It's the Winston scene if you know, you know.
If you know, you
If you
know.
know, you know. I am a little upset with how it was in the show just because it plays out so much like small things happen after the fact in the book. So I'm excited to see like when it's their season, like where they like, anchor most of the season, will they add more elements of that? Because it's
Right.
just so
I think because they put it in
funny.
kind of like a montage-esque
Hmm.
like part of the show that it just kind of like flew under the radar a little bit. Whereas like in the book,
It's
the
one of the best
reper
parts.
well, it's like the repercussions of that scene is what kind of fuels their story with the rest of the house a little bit.
Hmm.
So I think that that's why I mean, they're not going to be able to like call back to that because, like I said, it was kind of rushed through in the heat of the moment of the montage. So,
Yeah, but
but I love that scene.
I do too. I am really excited to see how the rest of the show like pans out.
Me
So
too.
I'm
I'm really happy with how it turned out.
me too.
So basically, if we haven't yapped your ear off and convinced you to go watch it or read the books, now is your opportunity to go watch it and go read the books. You have no excuses. Not one, zero, zilch. We are heavy in our adaptation era, heavy in our hockey era. So this is the moment. Go watch the show, go read the books, give all the love to the cast because they are killing it. I'm obsessed. I'm
Feeling it.
literally so
I
obsessed.
love them. I love all their interviews together. They have such a fun little
They
dynamic.
have great, great chemistry, great banter. Ugh, the chemistry is
Chemistry is
palpable.
crazy.
It's crazy. All right, guys, we love you so, 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 so much. Thank you guys for tuning in week after week, month after month, and listening to us yap about all of our favorite things. As always, drop a like, subscribe to us, follow us on our Instagram. We love you guys. Have a great week and keep watching what you're watching. Bye.
Bye.